Hi, this is Lee Schaefer, and you are listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson welcoming you back to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television. Very happy to welcome back our friend Jeffrey Sitcov. Jeffrey is the founder and president of Doors of Change. Doors of Change, the nonprofit organization that has used instruction in music and the arts to help more than 8,300 homeless youths find forever homes across 14 states in the United States since the year 2001, including placing nearly 700 teenage homeless youths in safe housing each year over the past 2 years alone. Jeffrey and his team have done this in part by forming alliances with some of the top names in music, television, and the Broadway stage, one of whom happens to be on the line with us as well. We'll tell you who she is in just a second. Jeffrey Sitcov, welcome back to our program.
Thank you so much, Ed, for having Doors of Change highlighted. We really appreciate it.
We very much appreciate the work you do and are happy to let our listeners know about it. Also on the line with us is Emmy Award-winning and Golden Globe-nominated singer, actress, and Broadway star Lucie Arnaz. Lucie joined forces with Jeffrey Sitcov and Doors of Change about 3 years ago to create awareness of the plight of homeless youth across the United States. And Lucie, welcome back to our program as well.
Thank you so much, Ed. Pleasure to be here with you guys.
Jeffrey, congratulations on the many inroads that you and Doors of Change have made in the last couple of years alone. I know your work is never done, but still, I would imagine it has to feel good to recognize that you continue to make such an impact.
Well, I tell you, I feel so blessed to have Lucie Arnaz as one of our angels because of her notoriety, people listen more. And with her help over the last 3 years alone, Doors of Change has housed 805 youth, of which 176 are for permanent housing, which is huge, because we really have focused the last 2 years now on what can we do to keep these kids off the street long term, be self-sufficient, be role models for other youth to follow. And when we look at the indexes that we've done the last year alone, we've gone up in sustainable services, which means services that will keep these youth independent. That could be fixing a car that's broke, because if their car is broke, they can't get to work. So we actually repair cars. These kids actually sleep in their cars, many of them, and we actually, have replaced many batteries because they use their cell phones for their, with their cars, and the batteries go dead. And so we actually have to replace their batteries. But we'll do whatever we can. We've actually doubled the amount of youth we've helped in total sustainable services in the last 2 years alone. And that's huge because, again, we're focusing on long-term success so they can be role models for others to get these youth in a better situation so they can be self-sufficient and productive in society.
And it goes to shows that I mean, look, it takes time to find the right home for anyone, but there are many things that you and your team do in the interim, such as making sure that they have a workable car to get to wherever they're working so that they can be productive and pick up their life and move forward.
Yes, one thing that's very important for your listeners to know, we work with 17 to 24-year-old youth called the transitional age youth. And that age youth are the most underserved the entire homeless population. People think, they're adults, they can take care of themselves. But realistically, they really are younger than their ages because their parents are so dysfunctional. They haven't taught them what normal parents will teach kids to survive. And, however, if you can help them and give a hand up, they have the highest rate of breaking the cycle of homelessness of any age group, Ed. It's significant.
You can learn more about Doors of Change, what Jeffrey Sitcov and his team do every day on behalf of homeless youths across the United States. Go to doorsofchange.org, doorsofchange.org. We're talking to Jeffrey and Lucie Arnaz, one of Jeffrey's celebrity spokespeople, celebrity angels, about Doors of Change. As it happens, this 2025 marks your 25th year doing this, Jeffrey, doesn't it?
Actually, the 24th year. And July 4th is our 24th anniversary. And during that time, we've actually helped with people like Lucie Arnaz, Anson Williams, the Rolling Stones, Carlos Santana, many angels. We've helped 2,900 homeless transitional age youth get housing. We've actually helped 20,000 youth, more than 20,000 youth get services, but 2,900 to get housing, which is very significant.
Doorsatchange.org, doorsatchange.org if you'd like to make a donation, if you'd like to find out more about the work that Jeffrey Sitcov and his team does. What is it about the performing arts that connects with so many homeless youth? Jeffrey first, then Lucie.
Well, I brought a blues group into the shelter 24 years ago, and the kids went wild. They were dancing. They had such joy. And the instructor said, Jeffrey, I've done this for 30 years. I've never seen more kids excited about anything before. The next day, we started the music and art program, it's called TMATS, taking music and art to the streets. And we did it for 18 consecutive years until COVID. We had to stop because you couldn't have it during COVID, but we're going to restart it in 2025 because the arts, what they do is, number one, they touch these kids' souls. They also allow them to learn very quickly, like a chord in the guitar, the ukulele, the mandolin, and just by mastering a thing like one chord, a G chord, D chord on the guitar or the instruments, they start helping their self-esteem, like, wow, I can actually do something and master something, many times for the first time. So it really helps their self-esteem. It gains trust with us, and they ask for more help quickly because they want to eventually get off the streets once they trust you.
Lucie, what is it about Doors That Change that attracted you and made you want to get involved?
Well, basically, when I first heard about this through our mutual friend, Harlan Bowl, who set up this interview and has been working pro bono for them for a long time, he's a public relations man that I trust, and he has never asked me to do anything that wasn't totally legit and for a really good cause. So there was that. I took him for his word. It was a great recommendation. But also, at the time, this was pre-COVID, and stuff, at the time, they were primarily getting to these kids and helping them via music and art, was what he just said. And to me, growing up, I just know the business that I'm in heals. It heals emotions, our emotions run very high when we're young, and especially even if they're not on the street yet, something's going on in their house, whether they're gay kids and they've been told they have to get out because they're not accepted, or there's drug abuse and all kinds of physical abuse. They have a lot of horrible emotions swirling in their heads. And then once they're on the street, it only exacerbates that. And I know that music and art, which was exactly the sources they were using to try to help these kids trust them, that we're here to give you something valuable. And that worked. And that's what I said, exactly. That's exactly right. So I wanted to be involved in that. And, of course, then COVID happens, and you can't bring them all into the rooms with the art projects and things like they were doing before. But then that helped them go to more outreach, which I think Jeffrey would agree was a big deal and something that needed to be done. So with posters and information and phone numbers, they also reached a ton of kids. But I have kids. I have 5 children, 3 of my own, 2 stepchildren of my husband's 2 boys. And they have gone through separate stages. I mean, they're all in their 40s and early 50s now. But I've been doing this a long time. And when kids are confused or angry and they get out and are on the street or saying, screw you, I'm on my own, or you say you can't come back here if you're going to behave like that, stuff happens. And I have experienced this on a small level compared to what a lot of these kids have gone through, but I can't even imagine making my child live on the street.
Yeah.
If it's their choice and they go, well, I'm leaving here because you people are crazy, that's probably a good thing. But that doesn't happen a lot. A lot of times they're kicked out for stuff, and it's impossible to comprehend. So anything, if just lending my voice, if talking to you today help someone, help Jeffrey do what they do, I would do that all day long. That's the least I can do.
On the line with us are Jeffrey Sitcov, founder and president of Doors That Change, and Lucie Arnaz, one of the celebrity spokespeople, one of the celebrity angels who helped Jeffrey spread the word and create awareness about Doors That Change. Doors That Change, nonprofit organization that uses music and arts to help keep homeless youth off the streets and, in many cases, help homeless youth find safe forever homes. There are more than 4 million homeless youth in the United States today, many of which are between the ages of 16 and 25. You can learn more about Doors of Change by going to doorsofchange.org, doorsofchange.org. As it happens, we are talking to Lucie Arnaz and Jeffrey Sitcov one day before we are scheduled to talk to Lucie's husband, Lawrence Luckenbill, about his life and career. Lucie, speaking of your husband and speaking of the healing powers of the performing arts, I am in the middle of Larry's book as we speak, and if all goes well, I'll be chatting with him tomorrow. But in a way, I mean, he wasn't homeless when he found the arts, but he's another example of how the performing arts can turn a wayward life around.
Absolutely true. I'm really glad you're doing that interview with him, and I'm glad you're reading the book.
That book being Affective Memories, the autobiography of Lawrence Luckenbill. We'll be talking to Lawrence Luckenbill next week on TV Confidential. In the meantime, online with us right now are Jeffrey Sitcov, founder and president of Doors of Change, and Lucie Arnaz, one of the celebrity spokespeople, celebrity angels of Doors of Change. Doors of Change, nonprofit organization that uses music and arts to help keep homeless youth off the streets and, in many cases, help them find safe forever homes. You can learn more about Doors of Change, doorsofchange.org. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation, while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Hi, this is Anson Williams, and you're listening to the amazing TV Confidential.
I took a look at your website, Jeffrey, before we started our conversation. One of the many ways in which people can help and can donate and be part of Doors of Change is, and this goes back to the alliances, the many alliances you created with artists in the music industry. Some artists, such as Steve Martin, such as Neil Young, have donated memorabilia for auction, and the proceeds for those memorabilia support Doors of Change.
That's correct. 100% of the proceeds. We've now raised $885,000 in music memorabilia. Billy Joel was the first, Elton John was the second, and when they bought in and said, you know something, this vision I can support, I trust you, I know this is a good cause, and by doing that, people in the music industry trusted us a lot sooner. It's very hard to trust today in anything. It's very hard for people to trust even nonprofits. And so, you know, who do you give to? What cause, but what organization you give to? And right now we have guitars signed by Eric Clapton and also Jerry Seinfeld signed 2 more guitars for us. We've raised quite a bit of money with both of them, and we're so honored to have them, as well as Lucie, Anson, and other angels on our team. But the most important thing is this. People have to understand that of the 4.2 million youth that are homeless in America today, Ed, 40% of them are LGBTQ plus youth that come out to their parents and they throw them on the streets just because they're gay.
Yeah.
I was sickened about this 24 years ago. It's still happening today. 40%. The other 60% come from very dysfunctional families. Their parents are mentally ill. They're alcoholics. They're drug addicts. They treat their kids so bad that it's safer for them to be on the streets than in their homes. And so these kids don't want to be homeless. But once they're on the streets, Ed, it's very hard for them to trust anybody because there are perpetrators that try and take advantage of them, especially the women that are on the streets.
We've talked about how the performing arts and music helps heal and helps really is at the heart of what you do with Doors to Change. How did the music industry discover what you do, Jeffrey?
Well, I went to Billy Joel, and he remembered me through my pictures. I'm an award-winning photographer, and he remembered that I came through with my word and sent him stuff when I said I was going to, and that's rare in the industry to come through with your word.
Yes.
And he said, yes, I like the vision, and I'll sign a keyboard. And then he happened to be touring with Elton John, and he told Elton John what he did, and Elton John said, you know something? I like that vision. I like the cause. I'll sign a keyboard also. And so it was really from above. It wasn't me, and by the way, I'm just the quarterback of this team. There's no way in hell anything would happen without our amazing team of Angel staff and volunteers that helped us. They truly are loving people because, believe me, these youth can tell immediately if you're not being authentic. And they gain trust so quickly. As an example of that is that, many of these kids have mental health issues. If they didn't before they got on the streets, once they're on the streets, there's so much pressure on them. There's so much, terrible things that happen to them and trauma that they all would benefit, many of them would benefit from mental health. But for them to actually admit that they want to do that is very difficult. We have gone up every year in the amount of kids that, like last year alone, we went up 23 more kids. 132 kids agreed because of the relationship with our case managers. They trust them to go into mental health. They see psychiatrists and psychologists to help them get through this. And that's very rare for them to trust at that point that they'll do that. So, we're very proud that we are experts in gaining trust quickly, but it's because we do the right thing. We've done it for 24 years, and thank God that these youth refer their friends to us because they see how we treat them.
Not only do they trust you, but I understand many of the youths who have found forever homes through Doors to Change have gone on to become lawyers, doctors, engineers, other role models. That's a very tangible way of showing that what you do makes a difference.
Yes, I can't wait until Lucie can actually meet firsthand one of the youth that she's helped. Because you know something? These kids have total Rocky stories. They come from such terrible situations. Justine is one of them. She was suicidal, tried to kill herself twice. Her mother's boyfriend started to grab her hair, abuse her physically, and then started taking her clothes off at 12 years old. And she left the house at 12. She was on the streets from 12 to 16. She's just one of them. She's now an attorney. Okay, we have someone that was on the streets, and now he was honored at Petco Park for Employee of the Year in front of 25,000 people. Now he's working for AMR as a supervisor for the ambulance service, getting people the help they need to get into hospitals. These are just some examples of how Lucie and our other angels have helped us to increase the awareness in our community. Because most people have no clue that this is such a terrible situation in our country at this level. Once we can educate them, we ask them, if you're touched by this, you can do something. Join our Angel Team. We actually trademarked the name Angel Team from the California Angels. They gave us permission, which is very rare. And for $18 a month, which 18 means life, and for $18 a month, you can join our Angel Team. And if we have 1,000 people doing that, we'll raise over $200,000 a year just on that so we can provide more case management, more program directors, more people that can help these youth, more music instructors, things that we can do to get more kids a better life and get them off the streets.
On the line with us.
See why I'm involved with this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Lucie Arnaz is on the line with us, as well as Jeffrey Sitcov. Jeffrey is the founder and president of Doors to Change. Lucie Arnaz, one of the Celebrity Angels spokespeople on behalf of Doors to Change. Doors to Change, nonprofit organization that uses arts and music to help keep homeless youth off the streets and, in many cases, help them find safe forever homes. We'll talk some more about Doors to Change when we come back. Plus, we'll ask Lucie a couple of questions about her career on Broadway, including performing the words of Neil Simon. All that more. We continue our conversation here on TV Confidential.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-239-0201. 800-239-0201. That's 800-239-0201.